All right, Joey, let's focus on Illinois football's training camp because it is almost here. We still got to get our schedule of everything that happens. And just a reminder, training camp under Brett Bielema has been very closed. We usually get to see some stretching. He said maybe that'll change this year. I highly doubt it. I really highly doubt it. So it's unlike the Brett Bielema era, Ron Zook era, Tim Beckman era, Bill Cubit, whatever it was, where we got to see a lot more and kind of give you updates of who was good in each practice. We're not going to be able to get that, but we do get to talk with players. We get to see the players. We get to usually see who's here, who's doing well, and all of that. But I figured we could do 10 questions entering training camp. And I think we know some main things. We've talked about a lot of things. So I'm just going to throw some fun questions at you that can cover some good topics. And I thought this was a fun one. Who's the offense's top playmaker? And by that, I mean, who has the most yards from scrimmage on the Illini offense this year, Joey? Who would be your pick?
I mean, can we do like the non-Isaiah Williams category? Because my bet would be Isaiah Williams. Like it's impossible for me right now to think it's anyone else. Because I think the running backs would be your next option, but who do you pick? Because it sounds like it's going to be a committee approach. So until further,
Hold on. Here's the debate I have in my head. If it were Isaiah Williams or an Illinois running back, I would side with an Illinois running back just because of Brett Bielema's history of 1,000-yard running backs. And for Isaiah Williams, he could get 100 catches and still have under 1,000 yards, right? And most of his rushes are not really rushes; they're receiving yards. So I think I would go a running back here. I think Isaiah Williams is the easy bet to get the most yards, definitely over 800 for me. For Isaiah Williams, I think he's going to be a huge playmaker, and I think they're going to try and stretch the field a little bit more. Wrote about that a little bit this week. And I think Reggie Love is the most trustworthy back, but Brett Bielema loves Josh McCray. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a bold pick and go Josh McCray because I think he's the most likely to get like 180 to 200 carries. So I'm going to go with Josh McCray is my answer for this.
I mean, that's a fair.
Isaiah Williams would be the favorite in Vegas if we were doing odds. I would agree with that.
I worry about how the splits go running back wise to take Josh McCray because it could end up you have like 2 700-yard rushers.
Correct.
Which is, by the way, pretty good rushing attack if that's how that circles out to be.
It'd be about the same as last year, and I keep coming back.
It was a good rushing attack last year.
It was good. It wasn't great. If you look back at it, like
Illinois, you're right.
Illinois was like 50-something in the country rushing yards per game. They were 7th in the Big Ten in rushing yards per game. So I get it. Chase Brown was unbelievable. He was a superstar. But
Josh McCray healthy makes that great last year.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. But it was one guy that was doing all of this for what was actually like a middle of the pack rushing attack. So I think Brett Bielema would be disappointed if it were like 700. I think he'd want like 1,000 and a 700.
And then a 250?
Yeah, something like that. Go like Jordan Anderson or Aiden Laufrey. Maybe a Caden Dragon.
I'm with you. When I read that, though, to the final point, like I thought, are we just going to talk about Isaiah Williams for a whole segment? Which is fine because he's really good, but that was I like that. Admittedly, I didn't do a ton of research into this before we talked.
It was really who's going to lead in rushing? Is it Josh McCray or Reggie Love? I think Reggie Love is going to have every opportunity. Like I just think the staff trusts him the most. But I know Bielema loves McCray, the whole John Clay comparisons. I think Williams would be the smart pick. He'd be the odds-on favorite because it could be Love or McCray. So it was just a way to discuss that. Kind of another way to do this. How many skill players top 500 yards from scrimmage? Last year, Joey, it was 2. Chase Brown and Isaiah Williams. I went with 4.
So I'm writing this down. I'm telling you, I really should. I was writing when you sent this. I didn't do. I think it's 4.
Yeah, Isaiah Williams, Josh McCray, Reggie Love, Pat Bryant.
That's exactly who I had. Who's your dark horse to get in there? It'd have to be Casey Washington.
He's gonna get a lot of reps. So yeah, if maybe Pat Bryant got hurt, Casey Washington maybe get some more big plays. He'd have to have a couple big plays, and that just hasn't been his game.
His bread and butter is like an 8-yard catch for a first down.
We're going to talk about the freshman wide receivers coming up here. I don't think either of those guys gets in this.
I would not feel comfortable putting that on there now. Those are really high expectations.
No, we've already seen Pat Bryant be a really good Big Ten receiver, or at least a good starting receiver. Can he be like an all Big Ten guy? I think he can be. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like, and Barry Lundy freaking loves him, Pat Bryant. So I think he's going to get a ton of usage. Anybody like Tip Ryman's not hitting that, right?
I don't think so. It'd have to be a wide receiver. Or a third running back. And I don't think it's either one of those things. Also, to just have 2 last year, like the offense was much better. And I think like that stat alone shows you how much more room for growth this offense has.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I used 500 last year. Hightower had 450 and Bryant had 450. So they were pretty close to it.